Yes, good morning and welcome. Your warm power breakfast right here on Citizen TV. It's that time when we take a look at the headlines. This morning we're privileged to have in studio with us Esther Passaris, aspirant for the Women Representative seat for Nairobi County. Good morning, Nakaribu Sana.
Asante.
Also, we do have Daisy Nyongesa, nominated senator. It's good to have you.
Thank you.
Now, ladies, today, of course, the biggest story, the biggest headline is what is happening in NASA. Now, you both come from that coalition, so
That's why we're here.
you'll help us understand what exactly is happening, because the squabbling has gone to another level. Now, on the Standard, NASA storm, a fresh nightmare for opposition. And they have quotes from all the four principals. Raila, if I could read the quote, "The fact that we have not announced candidate means that we have not agreed. Once we have agreed, we shall make it public. Please give us a break." The demonstrations in Kakamega were NIS sponsored. Kalonzo says that's a personal statement. The question of a lineup will be announced soon by NASA principals and not individual parties. Dr. Zani is entitled to her personal opinion, but that's not the position of the National Coordinating Committee. Mudavadi says ODM statement is a confession that leaves no doubt as to where leaks of working documents meant to undermine NASA unity have been coming from. It is confirmation that ODM is negotiating in bad faith. Then Wetangula, we reiterate the decision on who flies the flag is still work in progress, and one over which the principals will be holding a critical retreat soon. Until then, what we have on the table now are just scenarios and suggestions. Of course, all this emanating from demonstrations that were witnessed on Monday this week in Kakamega, where quite a number of Musalia Mudavadi supporters came out carrying banners and saying, Chief Minister Niwewe, no Musalia, no NASA. And Raila was responding to that yesterday after the Secretary General of ODM has sent a statement actually confirming that yes, that lineup where Kalonzo and Raila Kalonzo lineup was actually part of the report, and it was probably the final what was agreed upon. But now the main question about this is not whether or not they will agree or come up with a candidate, but the fighting, the kind of chaos we see heading to that. Don't you think that even by the time they finally announce a candidate for NASA, the damage will have already been done, that the fallout after that might be too huge to contain?
No, I feel that everybody is committed to their party and their candidate. But at the end of the day, they're even more committed to the ultimate game plan. And the game plan is basically to take control of the government, to remove Jubilee and to be the government and give the change that they believe in strongly. They have a common agenda. So that common agenda is also right down to the grassroots. Because the grassroots who vote, the majority of them, their lives have not been impacted positively. All right? The poverty levels in this country are very high. The standards of living are diminishing. There is drought. There is no food. The prices are high. There's been all kinds of situations in the medical field. Even though we have free maternity, we also had the doctor strike for 5 months, the impact on the poor people. NHIS, brilliant idea, but we didn't think about the poor people. Orphanages, suicides, accidents. I mean, Kenyans are suffering, and our social justice is actually at an all-time low, right? We may have infrastructure all over the place, but we don't have that. So the common agenda of the party leaders and their supporters is the same. So ultimately, when they do make an announcement, which I'm sure they will do, and it will be with all smiles because they will have agreed as gentlemen, right? The people will accept it. Yet
the divisions are so clear right now, and we've seen you come from Kakamega, and you saw the demonstrations in Kakamega, and surely that is something that should worry the four principals, because when one grouping decides, it's the same thing we saw with those from Ukambani, saying option 1, 2, 3, 4 is Kalonzo, 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 Kalonzo. And I do understand the argument that yes, everyone is digging in and saying, insisting that their candidate is best. But surely the kind of demonstrations that we saw in Kakamega, and for Bwana Raila Odinga to even respond to that, saying it is the work of NIS, surely it is something that cannot be ignored.
We saw Davadi distance himself with these demonstrations that happened in Kakamega. And I know it's the joy of Jubilee to see us fight. And trust me, NASA is strong. And NASA is going to be the coalition that's going to take government. And that's why we find these people trying to find a way of dividing us. And Raila is a very strong man, and he has tried to bring all these people on board and hold them together. But as much as every region of this country would wish that the presidency goes to their side, but we look at a number of factors. This person we are going to put as our flag bearer, does he have the national outlook? If not, then we cannot choose a weaker candidate. And that's why we thought, and that's why even Raila has said that the demonstrations in Kakamega were NIC engineered. And I can tell you, my party leader cannot mention a word without proper information from the background. And therefore, as a coalition, we are, as NASA, we are strong. There is no storm, as it is put on the standard headlines. We are holding together. And I know Jubilee wants us, they are pushing us to name our flag bearer because they don't know who to attack at the moment. They're like Raila, Mudavadi, Wetangula, Kalonzo, who is it? But we shall name our candidate or flag bearer at the right time. Yes.
Okay. So you do not foresee any fallout. Of course there will be a fallout.
No, I do not know. There will not be a fallout. There will not be a fallout.
There must be a level of...
No, this is what the media is propagating by all these headlines. I think, I'll tell you one thing. The media has a very crucial role to play in how they manage not just our leaders but our citizens, because every time you put something on the television, you also incite. So I think give us a break to the media as well. You know, let them decide. And at the end of the day, the elections are in August. We still have time to decide. And the beautiful part about everything is we know it's NASA. And it's going to be a NASA candidate. And I really do not see any of them bolting at all, period. We're together. And, you know, being president, there can only be one president. All right, so at the end of the day, they have to agree on one person. So it's a race. You've all committed to a race, and the reason why they're all marketing each other is to see their popularity as we move forward. You
do not foresee a risk that this protracted process that has gone on forever might cause some level of voter apathy?
No, I mean, at the end of the day, the voters have apathy because of all the governments that we've had that have not changed their lives. I mean, I was in Deep Sea the other day, and I looked at all the development around the Deep Sea slum. The Deep Sea is still the same. There's nothing that has changed. So the voter apathy, the majority of Kenyans are already living in situations where nothing has changed in their lives. All right, and it's getting even harder. All right, so for me, the fact that the principals are negotiating, it's okay. The voters understand that.
What do you think of that Raila Kalonzo ticket, that combination? Do you think it's one that could work? Or do you think it's the best for NASA? Your personal opinion on this one?
I may not talk on behalf of NASA. What I know is that whoever will be given the flag bearer ticket, that is the person we will go with. Looking at their popularities, they have different levels of popularity. Everybody controls a certain number of people, and therefore we need all these people together. We need Wetangula there. We need Mudavadi, we need Kalonzo, we need Raila. We can't do without any of them. And I can tell you, the only option they have as our principles is to stick together, nothing else.
Now, there seems to be a confirmation that yes, that Raila-Kalonzo combination is actually on the table, and that's probably the biggest discussion right now, that document was leaked. So probably that's where they're heading. Probably that's what the report recommended, a Raila-Kalonzo ticket. What do you think of that particular ticket? We saw in 2013, it's the same combination we had. Do you think that combination is stronger this time around?
You see, the thing is, NASA is the brainchild of Musalia. Let's get something that puts us all together. The fact that they all agreed to come together, they loved the idea. And it's a brilliant name. As a marketing person with experience in marketing, I think NASA's brilliant in terms of its marketing strategy. All the parties have got good marketing strategies, but NASA as a whole is fantastic. So they should not lose that. All right, it's already resonating with the people. All right, and I hope that one day we'll be the NASA party. You know, so right now you had Musalia, you had Raila and Kalonzo together. All right, that was the principal coalition, and Musalia is part of that. But when Musalia came in and said, "Let's talk, let's come together," I don't think he was guided by the fact that, oh, I've come in with NASA and I want to be the candidate. Musalia also has to ask himself, what do I want more? To be the president or to see Kenya liberated? All right? From the rulership that we think is not right. So if he is putting Kenya first, then he wouldn't really care what position he gets. You see, the thing is, leaders have to understand something. Positions come from God, all right? They don't come from the people. So if you're spiritual and you believe it, you give it your attempt. If it's not gelling, then it's not gelling.
Interestingly, you realize that the two of you have really steered clear.
No, I would love. Okay, no, I would love.
Think about that combination, Raila-Kalonzo.
The Raila-Kalonzo combination is the combination that we all expect to happen. All right, so even me, I would love that combination, Raila-Kalonzo.
You think it's the best combination right now?
You see, the thing is, we do.
And this is a personal opinion.
No, let me say something. We do say that the Luya population is massive, and but we also say that the Luyas don't vote as a bloc, and I love that about the Luyas. All right, I mean, she's Luya and she's in ODM. Luyas are independent thinkers, and I would love them to stay that way because we need to learn to be like Luyas. Okay, we need to learn to be like them. So that brilliance is fantastic. Okay, so I would like to see whoever the four principals decide. Right now, the thing is, the reason why I don't want to see Raila Musalia ticket is because then we concentrate in one region. Okay, that's why I don't want to see that. I would rather see a Raila-Kalonzo because then we go more national. All right, and Kalonzo
similar to Musalia-Kalonzo.
Yeah, Musalia-Kalonzo. Well, I'll tell you one thing. I mean, I'm ODM, and I honestly believe that the best presidential candidate for NASA would be Raila.
So Raila has to get the ticket.
No, for me, for me, if
personal opinion.
No, I would love to see Raila as a presidential candidate. I think he's the only one that really has everything to take down Jubilee. But having said that, if the principals sit down and decide it's Kalonzo, then so be it, right? But I feel that we need to heal this nation in terms of the terminology or the narrative that a Luo cannot lead. We've never had a situation where we say a Kamba cannot lead or a Luya cannot lead. We've always had this narrative that a Luo cannot be president, and I want to say that any Kenyan can be president, including a Luo. You know, it's a joke that has gone on for too long, and it's an insult that has harmed the integrity and the relationship of our country. You know, these two tribes need to heal so that we can actually see each other as one and start developing and building this nation. You know, and that is why somebody like me, who's a Kikuyu, has joined the opposition, because I don't want to see this tribal thing, and we kill it now. Because I'll tell you one thing: if we don't kill it now, this tribalism between the Luo and the Kikuyu, then in 2022, the way we're already playing this game over Peter Kenneth in the Jubilee Alliance, we're going to end up with a Kikuyu Kalenjin again problem. It's more division. We do not want division. I mean, the Kikuyus have to be sincere, right? We have a moral obligation to keep this country united as one, because we're developing so well. So
and it is unfortunate that we've reduced it to just a number of communities. That it's this community combined with another community, then this works. Even within NASA. And we do understand that the National Coordinating Committee came up with at least 12 different permutations of how these four principles could combine. But in terms of some question that I asked Esther, a Raila-Kalonzo ticket vis-a-vis a Raila Mudavadi or a Raila Wetangula or Kalonzo Wetangula, what do you think? Do you think Raila-Kalonzo is probably the best ticket that they could probably come up with?
As a Kenyan, we need somebody who can liberate this country. And the only person we have as it is today, it is Raila Odinga, nobody else.
Combined
he has walked the journey with whoever.
I'd like to see him combined with Kalonzo.
And I want to
Raila Kalonzo is a good combination.
And I want to be very sincere. In the last election, Raila banked 755,000 votes in Western. That means Raila can comfortably win a seat in Western without any of those people.
No, but you know something, we want them. We want them, and the reason why we want them is because this is not about individuals. This is about reality. I think sometimes,
but you know, that concern, that concern is real. That yes, you might want a Raila Kalonzo ticket, but what happens to Mudavadi? Would a Raila Mudavadi ticket?
Let me tell you something.
Before NASA came in, my brother, we had Quad. And there was hierarchy of who is who, as in the Raila. We are not equal principles. I was even checking on the newspaper yesterday, the Star. We had the party that has the majority registered people who are going for elections. Then ODM, then in that order. And looking at it, still ODM has the majority
at
in
party
numbers.
level.
Yeah, at party level.
ODM is still the biggest party in Kenya currently.
Yes. Not only in Kenya but in Africa.
But ODM doesn't want to do it alone. No, ODM does not want to do it alone.
Question is,
and that's why. No, but let me say something. Let me say something. I honestly believe in the interest of national spirit, all right, and in the interest of uniting this country. We look at Kenya as a whole in the map, and we say, are we going to bring the president from this region? This region. You see, why wouldn't you have a Kikuyu-Kamba alliance? Because again, you're centralizing it into the Kikamba nation. You know what I mean? So you want to have. You don't want to also have the Luo-Luya, okay? You need, it would be easier to have a Musalia Joho, all right, or a Raila Kalonzo, or, you know...
Musalia Kalonzo, probably.
Or Musalia Kalonzo. But let me tell you something. Musalia knows that, really, Musalia knows if he's going to be the presidential candidate, right, and Raila goes to the Luos and say, Musalia Tosha, right, it's going to be very difficult. And we don't solve the major problem that we need to solve in this country, that a Luo can lead this country and do a good job. This business of trying to put down one man and an entire community has to stop.
Yes. Allow me to push you, Daisy, because at least Esther came out and said, yes, Raila Kalonzo, yes, according to her, as far as she's concerned, that's the best combination.
It's a brilliant one.
You pick a combination.
And I believe even if we go to the polls, Kenyans will still say Raila Kalonzo.
So Raila Kalonzo.
Yes. We shall be able to send Jubilee.
But it should be noted that both are ODM members, so hence their opinion that...
no, and let me tell you something. I have mad respect for Wetangula and Musalia. And I want to tell our principals that at the end of the day, this should not be an ego trip. This should be not about your community. This should be about Kenya as a whole. And we as voters and members of the various parties and the coalition of NASA, we want to see them make an informed decision. All right. I've heard principal members say, "Oh, Raila has lost 3 times." I said, "So what? So did Kibaki before he ascended to the seat." So at the end of the day, let us make sure that we put the person that we know can win. And we need to, for me, it's to heal the nation, unite the nation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now the other headline we want to look at, and probably we'll do this after the break that we're just about to take, is milk shortage pushes up prices. That's on the top strip of the Daily Nation. The story is on page 9. We'll be looking at that as well. Kenyans will have to part with 60 shillings for a packet of milk due to shrinking supplies. The other headline we'll be looking at is this one to do with the public information portal that was launched by President Uhuru Kenyatta on Monday this week rather. And on the Taifa Leo, the headline reads, ni miradi hewa. Upinzani yasema wanasiasa wa upinzani wapuuzilia mbali mafanikio ya serikali katika tovuti yake. That we'll discuss after the break.